I want to talk a little bit about self-care, and one of my favorite self-care poses is constructive rest pose. It is fabulous, quite honestly, and there's no trick to it. There's nothing technical about it, and you can do it anywhere that you can lie down. So you can do this pose in bed before you go to sleep. You can do it in bed when you wake up in the morning, but before you get out of bed. So for those of you who have trouble getting up and down off the ground, you can do this one in bed. It's fabulous. So constructive rest pose helps to allow our psoas muscles to relax. Now the psoas muscles are referred to as the fight or flight muscles, and the more we can relax these guys, the more calm we can potentially become. And you might have a little bit of stress in your life. Now here's the rub. If you have stress in your life, you're less likely to have the time to do this pose as much as you might need to do this pose. But you start off wherever you are. So it's recommended that you practice constructive rest pose for 15 to 20 minutes a day. You might not have 15 to 20 minutes a day to devote to this. That's fine. However long you can is how long you'll practice the pose. If you can't get to it every day, don't beat yourself up about that, because this is a self-care pose. So if you get anxious about the fact that you haven't practiced self-care today or for a long enough time, then you're kind of defeating the purpose of self-care. So you practice it for as long as you can, as often as you can, and you don't feel bad about not hitting your goals. You feel great about the fact that you did it, okay? So we just have to make sure that's clear. I like to multitask a little bit. It's not a great thing to do, but while I'm in constructive rest pose, which I'll show you in a minute, it's literally just lying there in a certain position. There's nothing else you're doing. What I will do while I'm doing it is I'll work on my breathing. I try to keep breathing exercises, or try to do mindfulness exercises every day, and so I combine the two. While I'm lying in constructive rest pose, I focus on my breathing. That helps me to stay a little bit longer in the constructive rest pose. Because I'm lying down, it makes it a little bit easier for me to focus on my breathing. So it kind of works together. I really wouldn't recommend doing anything else while you're in constructive rest pose. Maybe meditating, breathing, that's about it. This isn't the time to catch up on emails. This isn't the time to read a book. None of that. Okay, this is just time to lie in constructive rest pose. So let's get to the pose. So you can do this in bed. It's obviously better to do it on a little bit of a more firm surface, but you do what you can, right? So coming down, lying flat on my back, my knees are bent, my feet and my knees are only hip bone distance apart. That's not how big you feel like your hips are, but how wide the bones of the hips are. I'm not letting my knees splay out to the side, and I'm not letting my knees rest against each other. Okay? And then this is it. This is the pose. Now, ideally, I wouldn't have my ribs popping up. You probably can't see very well, but you can bring your hands onto the bottom of your ribs, and you can feel if the ribs are high up, and mine are popping up, and I'd like them to relax down, but that's where I am today. Notice how the lower back is, and if there's more space underneath you on your right or your left side, and just pay attention to it. And then begin to focus on your breath and the sensations going along with this pose. Again, we're not trying to change anything external. We're not trying to move. We're actually trying to be still. You may feel the desire to move in different ways. And try to just notice that, but stay in the same position. Focus on the breath. So right now, I feel a lot of wanting to move in my sacrum, like to rock from side to side or to readjust. Instead, I'm just going to focus on breathing. Now, having said that, if there's pain, if you need to readjust, then please do. And just focus on breathing and staying in the pose. You could set a timer on your clock. If you're doing that, make sure that it's a gentle alarm. And just keep breathing. And you can notice how things just calm down. It's really almost a magical pose. And all you're doing is lying down, and yet this feeling of peace and tranquility really comes into our being. And was that a little too woo-woo? Might have been. But you know what I mean. So after you've been in this pose for as long as you're going to be, you want to gently come out of the pose. So you don't want to go from a nice calm position to jerking or throwing ourselves up. So when you're ready, you could head the knees in towards the chest. You could reach an arm overhead, and coming out of this, like we come out of Shavasana. So rolling over towards our side, into a semi-fetal position. Hanging out here for a moment or two. And then when you're ready, you push down through your arm. And ease yourself up. So that is constructive rest pose. I told you there's no trick to it. It's really quite simple. But it's really quite powerful and calming. So I hope that you can incorporate this pose into your day somehow, some way. If not into your day, then at least into your week. And give it a try. When you get into bed tonight, maybe you try a couple of minutes of constructive rest pose and notice if you sleep a little bit better, or if you're calmer, or just notice what happens. And let me know. Okay? So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you soon. Bye.